Yo, what is poppin'? My 420 Army is your boy the Mighty Liam 420, and yes, I'm doing a film review. I know this might be, I apologize if this one ends up being on the more controversial side, but you know me, I've sparked a lot of controversy in my videos, like, but hey, there's that saying. But anyway, basically we're reviewing The Interview, which is basically a film that came out in 2014. It has Seth Rogen in it. And yes, I love Seth Rogen. He's one of my all-time favorite actors, so yeah, I figured why not review this film, spice it up, do some, how this film basically foreshadowed how this film predicted, like, all the stuff in the world is, like, going on today, with Trump being president in the U.S. And no, I know, I'm not normally one for politics, but I just want to take a stab at this and see. And then explain why I think this film is funny, despite all the controversial, despite how it only having a 51% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's like, why does it have such a low rate on Rotten Tomatoes? It's Seth Rogen. I think it might be because of, like, with all the toilet humor in this film and the shit jokes and, like, the blood. I have no idea, but basically, the film opens with, like, it's some, like, weird Korean type thing, because they're going to North Korea, and basically, it literally is, like, a girl singing in Korean, and then they, like launch a nuke, and then we see, Dave Skylark, played by James Franco, and he's, like, interviewing Eminem, and then he accidentally ends up, like, exposing him for being gay, and then there's, like, and then we see, like, montages of, like, a cameo from Eminem, and they expose it for being gay, and they're about to cut it off. But it's like, yeah, this scene is pretty funny. And then they also interview Rob Lowe, where it's revealed that the guy was actually wearing a toupee, and then that's when the news broadcast comes in, where it's like, oh, Kim Jong-un's about to nuke the U.S. So then that kind of ends up fucking everything up. So then basically, yeah, it's just kind of casual and slow until we get to Aaron Rappaport, played by Seth Rogen. So then Aaron and Dave head to their apartment. They're celebrating their 1000th episode, and they get confronted by, like, another producer of the show. I'm not sure who it is, though, or if they say his name in the film, but he basically ends up saying that they're gonna criticize it as not being a real news program when they want to interview Kim Jong-un, and Aaron urges change, which Dave agrees with, like, when they're actually, because when we see, like, a scene on the phone where Aaron is, like, talking in, like, his office, and then Dave comes in and destroys his phone, and then tells him, hey, Kim Jong-un is a big fan of the show. His favorite shows are this and The Big Bang Theory. And then Aaron's like, no fucking way, we gotta get to North Korea and interview this dude. So then we literally see Aaron get on a plane. He flies to North Korea and then he just starts, like, once he leaves the airport, he starts walking in the mountains, and he passes out, and there's, like, a bug on him right as the helicopter lands when this girl named, I know. I have the Wikipedia for this movie open so I can read. I think Soo-Kyin Park, that's, that's, like, this lady who works for Kim Jong-un, and he finds her, but then and then they briefly see him, and he's surrounded to interview Kim Jong-un, but then she leaves and just leaves Aaron stranded on the mountain, and it they don't even bother to explain how Aaron got back to the U.S. when he tells Dave about tells him, hey, oh yeah, I fucked this North Korean girl on the plane. No, I did not. And then it turns out Dave smuggled in some ecstasy, and then they have, like, a party. It's like, yeah, it kind of just drags on super slow, because this movie's, like, really long, but I don't even remember most of the jokes, even though I just watched this film before recording this. Plus, a lot of the jokes are really, like, I don't know. This is probably going to get the video age restricted if I say them, or who knows if this video gets age restricted, or if it even gets flagged and taken down for the controversial stuff I might say in this video, but anyways, after their their drug party, and then they wake up the following morning with, like, a knock at the door, so then Aaron goes to answer the door, and then that's when Agent Lacey, played by Lizzie Kaplan, is at the door. It's like, hey, we want to talk to you about going to interview, which, yeah, now we see what Lizzie Kaplan was doing after she left American Dad for unknown reasons. Which, by the way, this movie came out the same year as A Million Ways to Die in the West, and for some reason Seth MacFarlane didn't bother to get Charlize Theron to take over as Debbie Hyman on American Dad, which was who Kaplan had previously voiced on AD, but whatever. Back to the interview. So basically, Lacey is talking with Aaron and Dave. They realize, and then he's like saying, actually, the CIA, the government would like for you guys to take him out with all the nuclear weapons he's been making and how he plans on nuking the U.S. And it kind of drags on. It's like, can I take him out for a date? It drags on for about 20 seconds, but it's Seth Rogen, so I never get bored of this guy. That is until Aaron realizes, so you want us to assassinate the leader of North Korea? Yeah, that. They get another chubby dude if we kill him. So anyways, they later agree with it, even though Aaron and Dave kind of like talk about it, like, do you really want to go with this? So it's like, no, we'll think about it. But anyways, they go through it. They head to the CIA headquarters where Agent Lacey is like kind of discussing, where she doesn't have her glasses on, her hair seems short, so it's like, did Lizzie Kaplan get a haircut in between takes? And then when Lacey's like describing her plan, it's like, alright, so basically we have these strips. It's like a ricin strip that like Dave would put in his hand, and then when he would shake Kim Jong-un's hand, the ricin would pass into Kim's body, and then it would like dissolve over a 12-hour period to the point where he's like poisoned from like him, and then it kills the guy. But then Dave isn't fascinated with this plan. It's like, no, I want to head in there, guns blazing, shoot the bastard, and head out with a bulletproof vest. This scene is just way too funny, and Lacey even says, no, you are doing the ricin strip plan. You don't have a bulletproof vest or a gun or any of that, and there's tigers in the woods. I swear, if they made this movie today, I'm pretty sure they would have it based on, it probably involved Donald Trump, and it would be the backstory behind how he got his ear shot. Or even here in Canada with Trudeau, who's just running the country, causing all the immigrants from the other side of the earth taking all the jobs, the imports. Portbacks. South Park reference, South Park, and, yep. Sure. Goobacks, because the future humans are covered in goo, which originated from the term wetbacks, which was from when Mexicans swam under the border, and I'll leave some of that stuff in the description if you want to go check it out. But, yeah, this... I'm sorry. Sorry, it's just, there's so much political stuff happening in the world that I don't even want to know what this video is how this video is gonna end up being once it goes public sometime in May. But anyways, after they go through their plan with the ricin strip, actually after Lacey described it, they end up going through like a plan that, which basically there's like we even see like a scene where Dave is like trying to shake like a person's hand, but then he accidentally sneezes at the last second. It's like, you basically just killed yourself because you injected the poison into your body. And then they give him like a briefcase that has like the strip secured so that way he can carry it. But he's like, this suitcase looks stupid, I'm switching it out. So that's literally what Dave does. He switches the suitcase out for one, and then he puts the ricin strip in like a gum pack, and he tells Aaron this, and Aaron's like, dude, why would you put the poison in a package of gum? It's gonna get discovered easily, and why are you using a different bag from the one that the CIA gave you? But then basically they end up heading to like the airport to fly back to North Korea, and then once they land there, which basically Agent Lacey said she would like be talking to them with like an earpiece so they can still communicate, and then Aaron is referred to as Aardvark by his codename, and I keep forgetting what Dave's codename is, but basically they're like walking through, like as soon as they land in North Korea, they meet up with Suk, and then they are driving in a limo. They drive past like a store. It's like telling, she's like telling her some like the agent legend. I'm not going to say all of it, but then when they actually get to the mansion, they meet up with. They get to their hotel. They meet up with Kim's personal security officers, Ko and Yu, who are suspicious, and then Ko ends up eating the poison, and which Aaron told him it was chewing gum. And of course he ate it. And then it's so funny once they get to their room, Aaron is like, "Dude, we gotta get new poison." It's like, oh shit. So that's what they do. They contact Agent Lacey and tell her about the. It's like, oh yeah, one of the guards ate the poison, so we're gonna need a new strip. So then Lacey is like, okay, we're gonna have to send in a new strip. Okay, I wonder if someone in either the US or Canada would imagine if you actually had Lizzie Kaplan show up at your door and basically hire you to put all the port backs or whatever is going on in the US. But basically, so then she ends up sending like a plane to drop some new strips for them, and then when Aardvark, which is Aaron's nickname, and I just wish I remembered Dave so I could say it, but then basically Aaron has to go out and retrieve the strips once they land. It's like, why can't Dave do it? It's like, because if Dave gets caught, he is going to, that interview's going to be over, because obviously Dave is going to be the one who's interviewing Kim, so. Man, the jokes are just so funny. There's way too many jokes, because this film is like almost 2 hours long, so it's kind of hard to keep track of everything, even, like, because my mind, even though I have a photographic memory, it's not a full-on steel trap, so a lot of the information is kind of flown out, but anyways, there's a lot of, like, sex jokes and a lot of inappropriate jokes that, even though this is already an 18-plus channel, it's so funny. Basically, when Aaron goes out to retrieve the strips, he ends up encountering a tiger in the woods, and they see something moving, and then it's like, it's a fucking tiger. Both Lacey and Dave say that. And then they're thinking maybe the tiger doesn't see him, but then Aaron knows that the tiger sees him, and then there was a funny joke where, like, Lacey tells Dave that the tiger has night vision, and Dave says, the tiger has night vision goggles, and Lacey says, no, it doesn't have night vision goggles, it just has night vision naturally. Which, I think tigers do have night vision naturally. I'm not sure about other cats, like lions or cougars or what other cat-type predators there are, but then he's like, Dave is like telling Aaron to fight the tiger. It's like, no, cud-punt that bitch, cud-punt that bitch. It's like, no, don't fight the tiger. But then Aaron starts running, and the package just so conveniently happens to kill the tiger as it lands. With a stupid stroke of luck, but hey, it's Seth Rogen. You gotta expect, like, a stupid and inappropriate stuff with him. Yeah. And then, but unfortunately the guards start coming towards Aaron, so then he has to literally shove the parcel up his ass, and it's like rocket shaped, but then once they take him back to the, once the guards take Aaron back to his hotel room, which surprisingly both his bed and Dave's bed were in like behind separate doors, so it's weird. Then once they get to the room, they actually like strip Aaron naked, and he literally starts like waving his cock in front of him. It's like, oh yeah, look at it. Oh my god. Oh. Anyways, back to this film, like, after the guards leave, it's like, Aaron shows Dave the thing he just shoved up his ass, and then they realize there's actually 2 strips. It's like, here's an extra in case you fuck up. Like, that's literally what's written on the piece of paper that the CIA agents put in, and then they decide, oh, okay. And then that's when Kim himself actually comes to the room, and he meets up with Aaron, and they literally have, like, spend the day together after like they play some basketball and like they're just kind of like chatting with each other about like their past and like what they're told about their fathers. And Kim even lets Dave drive his own personal tank, which he actually shoots in the woods and is like, "Fuck you, trees." And there's even Katy Perry playing. It's like, oh, and then Dave reveals that he loves Katy Perry. And then what's so funny, there's also a scene where they have some like girls in bikinis to seduce Dave, because it's like, oh, and then Dave's like, oh fuck yeah, I'm seducing the ladies. Yes, but unfortunately that girl I mentioned where I said I had a girlfriend, nope. Another girl who's flaked that you're not going to see on the channel because she was just a completely toxic. I tried to get her to be more flexible at the time, but she just turned into a selfish, bossy bitch over it. But then after, like, and what's so funny is, like, also in the car garage there's, like, a SUV, there's, like, that car brand with, like, the 4 rings, and there's, like, some other vehicles, and there's a lot of information, but yeah, sometimes I get sidetracked with like background stuff, and that ends up with making the video super long. So I'm trying not to have that happen here because of how controversial this video is already gonna be as it is. So, anyways, after the basketball and then like the tanks, they convince, and then Kim convinces Dave he's misunderstood as like a cruel leader, but then obviously, and for some reason Dave actually ends up believing this, but then he's like talking to Aaron about it when they head to like, and then Aaron's like, dude, we're supposed to kill this dude. And then basically what happened was that they head to like a dinner party, but then the effects from the poison end up killing Ko, and then he shoots you dead. And then of course Dave immediately discard. And then like the next morning when Aaron and Dave are talking, they're like, Aaron's like, so like, dude, they weren't innocent people. They knew something was up, so we had to kill them somehow. Then Dave's like, no, and it's like, no. So he throws the rice strip in the water, and then they leave. Either because they had an argument. It's like, boy, I swear, this has been used like a bazillion times now in so many films. So then basically, when Kim comes to the room, Aaron is about to give Kim the poison himself, but then Dave interferes. It's like, no, you're not going to poison him. It's like, wow. And then sometime later, like actually during like the interview, oh no, not quite to the interview itself, but then also one of the things that Dave got was like a statue of himself with his head on it, so yeah. But then after they head down, like after they leave, Sue comes up to the room, and what's so funny is like then there's like literally a scene where Sue and Aaron are like literally seduced. They seduce each other in bed. They're like completely making out. It's like, and of course Aaron's trying to make sure not to accidentally poison Sue because obviously he still has the ricin strip on his hand. This scene is absolutely hilarious, where it's like he's like trying to use his teeth to remove the bra, but then. Anyways, we cut to Aaron, Dave. I keep getting Aaron and Dave backwards. But anyways, Dave is with Kim and the rest of the North Korean mob, or basically they're just kind of like talking, and then that's when Dave realizes, oh shit, Kim is actually going to nuke the US. So then once Dave gets out of there, he heads into like that store where there was like a fat kid that he literally says it was a fat kid. He heads into like a grocery store, but then it's like the wall with all the aisles is just like, it's just like a piece of wallpaper, and then all the fruit there is like fake. And he's like, no, all the food is fake. So then Dave heads back to the room, and he tells Aaron, it's like, you're right, Kim Jong-un is a monster. He has fake food in his store. So they're basically, he's like saying, no, there's like, he has fake food in his store, and I just want to hit that bastard. And obviously, Sook is hiding under the blankets, but then after Dave is like ranting, Sook eventually reveals herself, because before Dave came back, she told Aaron about how she hates Kim, and that she's, like, forced to be in Korea, so then... but then when Suk reveals herself, Aaron tells Dave, "Oh no, she's on our side. Just do what she says." Which, oh my god, I am so getting lost in this video because, yeah, and then basically they decide to expose Kim during their interview, which they have planned, and then they literally end up arming themselves with guns and all sorts of other weapons so that they can shoot Kim dead. And of course, they had to shoehorn in a scene where Suk and Aaron are having sex with each other. I'm sorry, it's like, you gotta expect this when you're watching an adult film that has Seth Rogen in it. But basically, anyways, like, during the, once they actually get to interviewing Kim, Dave is given, like, a puppy that looked like his old dog that had died, which he literally said that when he and Kim were, like, kind of bonding with each other, but... Anyways, during the interview itself, like, it kind of... Dave is, like, kind of going with the script because they literally have, like, a button to cut if Dave actually ends up going off script, which is like, why in the ever-living fuck would you make a script like that? But... Oh boy. So anyways, during the interview, Dave ends up exposing Kim with, like, literally... They select include sensitive topics, which include the store with all the fake food, the stuff, and then he even, like, challenged for his father's approval, and then obviously Aaron and Suk are in the control room, and then literally, like, when he's about to cut it because Dave started singing Firework by Katy Perry, and that literally exposed, like, everybody, and then everyone watching the show was like, holy shit, he's starting to break the president of North Korea, and then a whole full-on fight breaks out in the control room where, like, they're trying to stop the guards from pressing the button, but then they end up biting Aaron's fingers off, which, like, I think it is possible to actually bite somebody's finger off. And I'm like, yeah, I don't want to accidentally bite off my own finger on camera. That would just not be good. Because then I'd have to put, you know what, I think I'm just going to put a warning for, like, all the offensive political stuff that I feel like I might have said in this video. So, yes, I know. This is the first time I've ever actually put a warning. Some people are going to be like, wait, Liam, you're putting a warning against this even though you've discussed other controversial stuff, like a character getting tortured and killed in a kid's film, and then later films from that same company milking the crap out of that scene when they don't even resemble it in the slightest. Well, here's the thing. That is just a theory on why that company went sour in the 2010s. Which, oh boy. And this movie came out in the 2010s, right in the midst of all that? Oh, no. That... Oh, God. But anyways, back to the film. Like, they literally end up killing all the guards by, like, shooting them. Suk shoots a guard in the foot, and then, like, they're still trying to keep the cameras on. But then when Kim is finally, like, crying on the air, he eventually pulls out a gun and shoots Dave, and everyone thinks that Dave just got murdered on camera. Until, once Kim leaves, Dave decides to get up and then reveal that he's wearing a bulletproof vest. And then also Agent Lacey and the other CIA agents are watching it, and then she's like, damn, he somehow managed to get a bulletproof vest, and that actually saved him in the long run. Yes, even though she was completely against Dave's plan about going in there guns blazing, it somehow actually managed to get in, but yeah. Anyways, after that's when they head in, and then they, like, end up, but unfortunately once they're locked in the control room, some more guards come, like, running in. And then Suk ends up killing the high-rank general, and then for some reason, like, once they realize that, but eventually Kim realizes that Dave is still alive, and they're about to kill him, but then that's when they reunite. That's when Aaron and Dave are, like, actually reunited with each other after the interview, and then they start going through guns blazing, shooting all the guards, even through a closed door that Suk had closed earlier. That oh my god, it's just an obsessive micro gift for Ernie Pearson that I plan on having some of my car stuff, which, yeah. but I sat there and switch it with stuff. I'm talking for a while, but anyways, after all that is done, yeah, there's a lot of blood and guts in here, but yeah, even in that earlier scene where during the poison scene when he got shot in the head, the blood just exploded. So do not watch this movie if you're squeamish. That's heads up. But anyways, after them just like shooting their way through the hallways, which another guard ends up joining them after killing some of the men with an AK-47, they head to the field, and they end up stealing the tank they end up stealing Kim's tank, and then Aaron is like in the gunner's seat, or no, Suk has the gunner's seat. But anyways, Dave is driving the tank, and Aaron asks him, is that Katy fucking Perry? And then Dave tells him, dude, this is helping me concentrate. Keep the song playing. It's like, sure, we're gonna kill this dude with some Katy Perry playing in the background. Oh my god. But anyways, they're getting the nukes ready to launch at the US, but luckily, they're about to count down, they're about to kill, Suk, Dave, and Aaron, but luckily, they launch a missile at the, helicopter, which blows up, and it was like a cool slow-motion shot when, Kim was actually blown up from the explosion that the missile caused, so... Yep, and then they realize that he's dead, and then... They end up heading to like a tunnel. Once Kim's dead, everyone celebrates, and they're about to head out of Korea. But then they end up going to like a tunnel, and Suk's like, "No, I can't leave the country. Had to stick with Kim and help with all that domestic terrorist stuff he caused." But then that's when Aaron and Dave are like, "No, we're still heading back to the U.S. despite us causing all this." So they go to like a little secret tunnel, but then like, and of course, Aaron still has the puppy that Kim gave him. But anyways, yes, the puppy was with them this whole time, by the way. But then once they get out of the other side of the tunnel, some soldiers surround them, but then they realize, no, are you guys the people who assassinated the leader of North Korea? Well, there's someone on the phone, and Dave is like, ooh, is it Obama? Because, yes, this was filmed back when Obama was still president. So he picks up the phone, it's like, hello, Obama, but it's just Lacey calling them, saying, hey, congrats on killing the leader of North Korea. But yeah, I know. Surprised this only took like 3 minutes to record, despite it being like a longer film, because there wasn't too much side stuff I wasn't too distracted with that ends up taking like up a chunk of the video. And I'm not gonna throw some. I was thinking of doing some fan designs before I recorded this, but then it's like, no, that's gonna get the video even more controversial than it already is, and I don't want to risk this video getting taken down or even my channel getting terminated, so anyways, after like they head back, once Dave and Aaron head back to the US, there's like a conference going on where Dave is like telling the story, and Suk ends up getting Skype to talk with Aaron, which he said on their boat ride home. Which, yeah, they took a boat back to the U.S. somehow, even to like the Atlantic Ocean, and the puppy was still there. And they even named the puppy Kim Jong-un after the president. But then obviously the film ends after after Dave finishes the conference. But yeah, that's basically it for this film. I kind of wish I would have remembered more about this film, like some of the jokes they had with like the gay stuff. But then again, I didn't really want to get this video age restricted. That's like a bunch of inappropriate jokes, so I'm just trying to be careful. I'll probably try to throw in some funny memes and sound effects like I normally do. Anyways, yeah, that's literally how this film could play out. I'm surprised no one's attempted this against Trump, which, yes, even though I did support Trump back in the day, back when he was first run in 2016 till 2020, I was just a dumb high schooler, but now, he wasn't as bad then, but his second wave now, holy fuck. He's just getting people deported for no reason, and hopefully we get a new prime minister here in Canada soon, so that they can send all those portbacks back to where they came from, and that all the full-time jobs are free, so that I can, like, I can have a full-time job outside of the house, so Which, yes, by the way, I still don't have my YouTube and Twitch up to like full standards if I can start making money off of those. Twitch, I have all the requirements. I have to get 5 chatters, which is surprisingly taking a very long time to do, which is really dumb, but hopefully I can get Twitch up and running so I can start making money off of that, and then I'll probably start growing on Twitch to the point where hopefully I can convince them to head over to YouTube and subscribe to me on there, and then get the channel up to 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 viewers, but yeah, that, I don't really know what else to say about this video, other than, yeah, this is a great film, and I totally recommend watching it if you can handle all the potty humor and all that other stuff. FBI